Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Framed podcast. This is episode 9 now, and we're here to discuss all things weapons. Today, you have myself, Charlie. Craig is here as well, and we also have a special guest. Special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Dawson. I run Dawson Screen on TikTok, and I talk about all the latest film, TV news, and everything else.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us today. Craig's going to quickly delve into what we're going to go through, and then we're going to kick off this episode.
Yeah, so the main discussion for today is, of course, Weapons. Weapon was the big horror film released this week. So this is all going to be about weapons, all going to be about horror. So if you haven't seen the film yet, go and see it because we're going to be obviously talking spoilers. And then a little discussion about horror at the end, just to wrap up what we think about how horror is going for this year and this decade. So let's get straight into it.
Yeah, so we're going to kick off with just diving into this week's news, something they do every week on the podcast. Not major news this week, just kind of fun things to be excited about for the future. First of all, we had the Batman 2's entered its pre-production, and there's also been the rumours of Robin potentially appearing in the film. How are we feeling about that?
I mean, I'm excited that we're finally getting some progress on the Batman Part 2. Finally. I mean, I think it's just something that's been in the works for way too long. Is it happening? Is it not? So to finally get some news, I mean, I am very, very excited.
It's interesting because I think it's been so long since we've actually had a Robin in a Batman film. Like, realistically, the last mainstream Robin we had was, to an extent, Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Dark Knight Rises, which really wasn't a Robin. And then I couldn't even tell you what the Robin before that is. So I'd be really interested to see how they deal with it, but I honestly feel like it probably would be dealt with in a similar way to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because that Batman universe isn't the fun, quirky one that you get. It's more Nolan-centric than it is, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think another thing that excites me about all the pre-production news, also we have the 100% confirmation that Greg Fraser's returning as cinematographer this time. So we know it's going to just look absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Which is good, because I feel like the most important part of that Batman was its aesthetic.
Absolutely. I'm really going with that. Is he doing both the Batman and Dune Part 3, or is he not doing Dune Part 2?
I believe he's doing both now because of the delay of Batman 2.
Robert Pattinson's also doing both, isn't he? I didn't even realise until last night that he was in Dune 3.
Yeah.
They're both
I'm happy. I'm very happy. I think that, I'm hoping there's no more delays and it doesn't get pushed back, because, they said they're starting to film in perhaps spring, which is great news.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, touch wood, everything just flows nicely and we get this film soon.
It's finally on its way.
Did you, sorry if this is already on the agenda, but did you see the news from last night about Zach Cregger's Batman film?
No.
So last night it came out that, I think it was in an interview about weapons. This is a very tied into both stories at once. Zach Cregger says he has written a DC Batman film called Henchman. He hasn't pitched it to DC yet. He's only written it, and he's very interested, and I think DC knows he's interested. But the idea is it's about a low-level henchman that manages to capture and incapacitate Batman. And supposedly the Joker and Harley Quinn are in this story. And I think it's a Batman story, but from the perspective of a henchman that actually wins, or at least captures Batman for a little bit.
Oh,
that's a very unique take.
Which I think sounds so cool, but I don't know where you would even, like, if they did that today, I feel like it wouldn't fit in
anywhere.
The Robert Pattinson universe, and then I just don't know where it fits in the DC universe, which is such a shame, because I think that's so cool. And with Zach Cregger being so in demand at the moment, I feel like DC has to at least listen.
Yeah.
Yes, they should. I mean, we've had a couple of spin-off things. I interviewed a guy earlier this year who made a short film called Joker's Wild, I think it was. I don't know if you saw it, Dawson, but it's basically David Howard Thornton, who is Art the Clown. He basically does this 12-minute short film all about the Joker and Robin, and it is so good. So if we get, I'd love to see more stories like you said about that, something from another person's perspective in that universe. Where to fit in, I don't know.
Yeah, and obviously we've got Clayface filming at the moment, so
cannot wait for Clayface.
Yeah, that's going to be so good. To stick on the topic of DC, we'll jump away from the Elseworlds, more into the main DCU. James Gunn has said that he's currently writing and planning to direct the next segment of the Super Family. So obviously we don't know what that is, but what would you hope that would be?
So what Super Family would be Superman, Supergirl, and extended. Yeah. So would you assume the next James Gunn one is Superman 2, but also with Supergirl in it?
That's what you'd think.
That's
sure.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Just like a bit of a team up.
Yeah, you think you maybe do. You got Supergirl coming out, and then you think, yeah, you at least do some sort of crossover or something with both of them. So, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like if it's anything, it's just they're just going to call it Superman 2, right? That would be I mean, a subtitle could be possible, but I'd be surprised if it's Superman or Superman and Supergirl or Super Family or something like that. I would assume they're just going to go down the route of Superman 2. While we've got a successful Superman for the first time in a while, really, you capitalize that as quickly as you can, I think.
Yeah, 100% on that, yeah. I think the only other thing I want to see James Gunn do, not necessarily stuck with the Super Family, but is giving us a world's finest movie that isn't anything like Batman vs Superman. It's just an actual movie where they're working together, and it's a great dynamic of these two very polar opposite characters, which I think James Gunn is great at balancing in a film. Because you could argue that characters like the Guardians or characters like the Suicide Squad are very polar opposite characters. While they're all misfits, they are all very unique in their own rights, and Gunn can always balance their different personalities so well. So seeing him depict the relationship between Superman and Batman working together would be a really cool dynamic to see.
I just wonder how difficult it is to actually put Batman in this DCU while you've got Robert Pattinson on, because they've even delayed Brave and the Bold because they don't want it to clash with the Batman Part 2. So at what point is Gunn going to bring in Batman into this universe if we're not getting Batman Part 2 for another 2 years, isn't it? It's like, I don't know at what point we can actually bring in Batman where it doesn't get confusing. I personally am in the camp of, I think we should just put Robert Pattinson's Batman in this universe. I think Gotham and Metropolis can be two very different places. And I just don't really understand why we're throwing another Batman in, because I think at that point you're just confusing the general audience of, well, who is Batman? Yeah, we understand that there's two different universes, but I don't know. I feel like it's confusing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. It's a tough one because you think, well, is that's going to be a standalone thing? But then at the same time, you just think, yeah, is it confusing just having so many different spin-off and all these different types? I'm really conflicted on whether or not I'd like Robert Pattinson in the DCU. I'm really conflicted.
I don't even know where Clayface is. I actually genuinely don't know whether Clayface is Robert Pattinson or DC Elseworlds, because we've already had a Clayface in Creature Commandos. So I don't even understand where Clayface even sits.
I believe Clayface is James Gunn's DC. Which is
I don't understand how that works if Creature Commandos is canon. I don't understand. Yeah. Weird.
Too many things going on.
Yeah. It's going to take a while before that whole new continuity becomes easy to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think, isn't Peacemaker doing the thing of everything that you see in the previously on in season 2? So when season 2 starts in a few weeks, the previously on that's at the beginning of that episode, everything you see in that is canon, everything else isn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right on that one.
Which is just weird. And I get it, because obviously at the end, Peacemaker's ending was very connected to the old DC, so...
Yeah.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Yes. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Shit. Yeah, interesting. Because it's meant to be a bit multiversal, isn't it? This new
Yes. Yeah. They're going through doors, and there's weird universes.
Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting. I'm very excited for Peacemaker.
And it also directly connects to his Suicide Squad, which was in the old DC universe still. It's just a bit messy.
And it's also been called like a direct sequel / continuation of Superman. Which is really strange.
Yeah.
It's just it's so annoying that we've finally got what could be a really, really good DC universe, and it's just so messy.
And with
I hope
I hope it just I think they're maybe finding their feet, and we just need to let them work it out. And hopefully, like we said, we get some sort of like, okay, this is the path we're on. It's not just we'll see.
Yeah. Jump over to a different franchise now. Michael Bay is 100% confirmed to be in talks to direct a new Transformers film. I'm very excited to see it. I mean,
so glad he's back.
Yeah.
So glad he's back.
I wish he wasn't back.
Ooh.
I personally don't think we need more live-action Transformers movies at the moment. I think we have passed that, and with how good Transformers 1 was, I don't understand why we're not going straight into that as the next big thing. I think they are doing a sequel to that. I'm not 100% sure. But why are we not doubling down on the universe that just worked, or even going back down the Bumblebee route, which was also a really good Transformers films? I feel like the last couple of major Transformers films were a bit of a flop, other than Bumblebee. So why are we doing that? And then, sorry to keep going on the rant, but Michael Bay, I believe one of his last films was Ambulance, which was so much fun, and I'd rather him be going down that route again than in going back to Transformers when he hasn't made a good Transformers film since, what, Transformers 2?
I mean, Transformers. Let me just have a look.
Because what he did, the first one is he Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon.
Yeah. Did he do the last... No, he didn't do the Last Night, did he? Was that what it was called? They all have ridiculous titles.
Yeah, Age of Extinction.
Yeah, he's done the normal Transformers for the first one, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon.
He did Age of Extinction, and his last one was The Last Night in 2017, which was terrible. So
Yeah.
I don't understand. And then Rise of the Beast wasn't great either.
Yeah, Last Night was terrible. Sort of in the middle of Age of Extinction. I don't think it was too bad. Dark of the Moon, I thought was okay. A lot of people hyped that one up. Revenge of the Fallen. I've got most of them at 3.5, apart from the first one, which I've got at 4.5. So yeah, I'd say the best. It's sort of not. It's gone very downhill. I'm excited to see it come back, but also I'm very cautiously optimistic with how he's going to do it. Is he on separate note? Is he still doing the Skibidi toilet film, or is that like not a thing anymore?
Yeah, that's filming right now.
Is that actually him?
But wasn't it confirmed that it wasn't him? Because it was a whole thing where it was like they heavily teased that it was him, and I think it's his production company. But I don't know if it is actually him directing it. And if you go on his Wikipedia now, it doesn't come up either. And actually, it was a weird thing, and I for some reason know too much about Skibidi Toilet, which is concerning. But I really don't think he is directing that now. But I don't know who is, which is not really.
I hope he's not.
I don't know. I'm more interested in Skibidi Toilet than I am another Transformers film.
Yeah. If you told me that Michael Bay's career was going to go Transformers, Ambulance, Skibidi Toilet, back to Transformers, I probably would have laughed in your face.
I just feel like Skibidi Toilet is going to be such a phenomenon film. Like, it will be a massive conversation topic.
It will be like the Minecraft movie.
Yes.
It'll have the same impact as that.
And you'll have cheering in the cinema and all of this sort of shit. It will just be...
Everyone will turn up dressed as Skibidi Toilet, like the Minions craze.
And I'll be there.
I will be there. Now of Skibidi Toilet. I mean, it's all starting. This whole thing is starting.
It's huge.
Yeah.
We'll have like a whole... I don't actually know any of the things in it, but you know, like all that brain rot stuff. There'll be like a brain rot universe.
You'll come out
the lore of Skibidi Toilet runs deep.
Yeah. That film is going to ruin everything.
To get back to some, should we say, real cinema, The Odyssey has finally wrapped filming, which is very exciting news. A whole, 9 months before release, which just so much time for post-production, which you know is going to just look beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm intrigued to see, because the last Nolan film was Oppenheimer, which of course was incredible. And I don't think Nolan's actually missed, in my opinion. So I'm very excited for this to take, 6 months, I think it was, to film? 6 months?
Yeah, they started in January.
Yeah, which, I don't know, is that long or is that short? I don't know, but I have a lot of trust.
Yeah, that's it. 6 months is pretty long. So for a film of this scale, which we don't know how long it's going to be, but I assume it's going to be a very long film, and the book obviously is huge. So it is, it seems like he's doing it. And then if you, I feel like my TikTok has just been flooded with people going to Universal and seeing them filming the boat scenes. I feel like every day I see a different boat scene being filmed, and the actual setup that they've got and the rigs that they've got for that are crazy.
Yeah, we know that Nolan doesn't like to use CGI as much. We know he used an entire plane for the Tenet. He used actual explosions for Oppenheimer. You know he's going to go all out for this. So I'm very intrigued. And we know the tickets sold out a year in advance, which
that is crazy.
Is insane. So
the power he has.
Has that ever been done before?
All he has on cinema,
I don't think so. No,
is incomparable.
Yeah, he is the guy right now. There's a lot of great working directors right now, but I think the one that gets thrown around the most is Nolan. you obviously still have Scorsese doing his work.
But Scorsese's not mainstream. Like, not in the same way. Yes, his name is, but like Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon didn't have the same impact as Oppenheimer, but it got a full cinema release, even if it was an Apple TV film. There isn't many directors that can pull people in purely on a name, because I don't think the general public, knows directors very well. But they know Nolan, and they know that when there's a Nolan film out, we have to go and see it.
Yeah, no, that's it. In this sort of space, we know like the likes of, Nolan and Scorsese and etc. etc. But when you think of like just the general public, you think, yeah, what names are going to bring people in? You get a couple, but Nolan is definitely top on that list, and you can see that from the ticket sales. So,
is there anyone that actually comes close to it? Because I'm picturing in my head, and I'm like, what named directors actually bring people into the cinema? And in my head, I'm thinking Jordan Peele, but I don't think Jordan Peele
is to the general public would be Spielberg.
But what was Spielberg's last film? What, Fabelmans? That didn't bring people in. And that was amazing. I thought I'd hate Fabelmans, and I came out of that film, it was beautiful. And that had Seth Rogen in it as well. Like, I feel like if you've got a Seth Rogen Spielberg film, that should be pulling in similar numbers to Oppenheimer, but it doesn't. And I don't know what Nope pulled in at the cinemas, but like Jordan Peele is a publicly known name, but I don't think he's not bringing in the numbers of Oppenheimer.
Yeah. There are names which are like making it up the list. Like, you've got the likes of Ryan Coogler, because Sinners doing incredible.
Yeah, he'll
actually, yeah, Ryan Coogler probably is. Yeah, now
Ryan Coogler's up there. Perhaps James Gunn, but I don't think that's on that level.
Yeah, I mean Superman, but it's obviously it's a known IP.
That's a name. It's the franchise, isn't it? Superman film. Oh yeah, great. But when you think of an actual director, because a lot of people will go, "Oh, Odyssey," but what's the Odyssey about? Then you go, "Oh, it's Christopher Nolan." And think,
yeah,
great, okay.
And James Gunn trying to cement himself with that Superman press tour, putting himself in every interview, everything. Like he was as much of a star of that film as David Corenswet was.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, I think really that Nolan's got that hold. Got above anyone else.
Yeah, I do like when directors do that though. Like, not that they're trying to force themselves into these interviews, but they are as integral to the movie as the cast, and they should be in those interviews. And most of the time, they give the most interesting answers because they know more about the movie than the actors.
I love listening to directors talk. I think it's like when you do the London Film Festival, I love listening to like Denis Villeneuve talk about his process of filming. Like, it's just, I think it's so interesting to hear how like the thought process going behind some of it. I think, like you said, they are as much as integral as the actors. So yeah, I think they should be putting their names forward as much as they are promoting the films.
I agree. It helps that James Gunn's so charismatic, though. Like, James Gunn he's a very public-facing figure. I don't feel like Nolan can carry himself the same way, and like Mike Flanagan, he's very good with his words, but like he'd struggle with that. And you look at Danny Boyle's really fun, and I could see Danny Boyle doing stuff like that. But then you watch those interviews for 28 years later with Danny Boyle and Alex Garland just doesn't want to be there. And it's
I don't care. This is my film. Yeah, I know what you mean. James Gunn is so passionate, which is nice to see.
There's one more bit of news, which is at the moment, I guess, still a rumor, but I need opinions on it. That Timothée Chalamet is in the running to play James Bond.
I think we can all agree that that's the worst thing that can happen to the James Bond franchise. I don't think for a second it will happen. I think just because the name Denis Villeneuve is attached to it, people are like, "Oh, surely Chalamet's got to have a role in this," but I don't see it happening. It's going to be. We talked about it before on the pod. It's probably going to be someone on the likes of Tom Holland or something, because it's Amazon Prime. But yeah, keep Timothée Chalamet away from that.
I would agree. Keep Timothée Chalamet away from it, unless you're putting him in as some sort of other character or some sort of like. The only way I'd be interested in Timmy being in that film is if he's the villain, and we're talking some sort of like boy millionaire type villain. We're talking like an eccentric billionaire who's like young, and the idea is he is quirky and he does something else that's weird about that. I'm already concerned about James Bond because yes, Denis, incredible director, very exciting. It's now being written by Stephen Knight, who did Peaky Blinders and everything, which I don't think's a great shout for it, because as good as Peaky Blinders is, I think Peaky Blinders is so far removed from Bond And the rest, I think, of Stephen Knight's stuff that he's done, I haven't been impressed with. So I'm a bit like, that's a risky thing. I'd rather Denis be writing it, but it's...
I find the combination interesting, yeah, because Stephen Knight is a very, very, like, yeah, his work is very grounded to the whole, historical pieces of Peaky Blinders. And what was that most recent one? It was 1,000 Blows, which
I didn't
I
like.
enjoyed that, but it's a very different space than directing a Bond film for Amazon Prime direct by.
And his next thing is House of Guinness, which is all about Guinness, and that's another period drama.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, at what point... We haven't ever seen him do anything that isn't that, really.
Yeah.
And I don't think his work, other than Peaky Blinders, has been fantastic. So I'm a bit worried about that and how he tackles a Bond. And I'm someone who really, really likes Bond. So I'm, like, worried about where that's going. And, like, is Denis going to try and do something really weird with it? I don't know. They want to cast young. I don't know how young they go, though. I do think Timmy is too young because they also supposedly want to do a young Bond series. So you can't go much younger if you're already going Timothée Chalamet.
I do wonder if, like, these casting rumours for James Bond in Denis' movie is actually casting rumours for this younger series. And they're actually looking at other people for Denis' movie.
That would make more sense.
Uh-huh.
Timothée Chalamet being a young Bond would make way more sense. And then you put, like, an Aaron Taylor-Johnson in actual Bond. But the problem is you need someone young enough as Bond that can last for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
My only concern with this whole new start to Bond is the fact that Amazon are behind it, and I'm very concerned about how much impact they're going to have on this film. I mean, I know it's going to be completely different, but look, I talked to you about War of the Worlds, which is obviously, of course, a film from Amazon Prime. I just don't think they should be touching anything close to.
I think it'll be handy though, because when he needs a new gadget, he can just Amazon Prime one.
He can Amazon Prime Air a new.
He's sorted.
Oh, I swear to God, if he Prime's new gadget over to himself, or Moneypenny's like, don't worry, Bond, this is coming over to you next day shipping. I swear to God, that.
Yeah, Amazon Prime and the martinis.
It's interesting. The Broccolis who used to own Bond were so protective of it, and handing it over to someone who just wants to milk it dry is worrying. I will say I did really, really enjoy the Bond game show that they did, and I know they're doing another season of that. I absolutely adored that. I thought it was really, really fun. I do think Brian Cox thought he was in an actual Bond film and was very confused when he got there. But it was genuinely good, and that's the first Amazon thing they've done. So far, they've not messed up for me, even though that is a bit of a bastardization of Bond. I did really enjoy that series.
Yeah,
I guess we'll hopefully get some more news soon. So
yeah, it'd be a fun one to follow.
Yeah.
I think, unless there's anything I've missed, I think that's most of the news from this week.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. Obviously, there's a Spider-Man film, but you guys discussed that last week. So yeah, I'd say let's head into the main discussion of the film this week.
So, Weapons has obviously dropped the new Zach Cregger movie. I'll do a countdown from 3, give our ratings out of 10 to kick this off. Yeah. So, we've now all seen Weapons. This is our rating out of 10. 3, 2, 1, 8.
10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dawson loved that.
Wow. Let's
Yeah.
jump straight into your thoughts then, Dawson, if you're a 10.
I think Weapons is my film of the year. I think it's very, very close between one film and another film for me, but I think it is a masterpiece in horror. I think it's a masterpiece in tension building. I think it is career-defining performances from both Julie Garner and Josh Brolin. I think its usage of structure is almost fascinating, and I just came out of Weapons with a massive smile on my face, and when I wasn't smiling, I was horrified, and I just adore this film so much.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it that much.
I think it is such a great film. I think it's... See, a lot of people, now that the film's released, a lot of people are like, oh, I felt like the ending was perhaps a bit disappointing for me. It didn't live up to what I was hoping for. But I don't get... Film is subjective, I get that. Everyone can have different opinions. But I had such a great time in this film. I was sat there just in awe of what I was watching sometimes. I just think it was such a joy to watch. It was 2 hours. It didn't feel slow. It was just perfectly paced, and I loved it.
No, I think I literally turned to you at one point and went, I don't want this film to end.
Yeah.
I was like, I really don't. I could take another 15 different perspectives. One thing I will say before we go into deeper discussion on it, I think if you are interested in watching Weapons, the best thing you can do is know nothing about it. The less you know about Weapons, the complete better you will be. I think your experience will be way more enhanced by that. It's the mystery is the key.
100%, and not a lot of films are great with that. The marketing for this film has been so good because the trailer hasn't spoiled anything, none of the marketing has spoiled anything, none of the cast have spoiled anything. So yeah, like you said, if you go into this film with as little knowledge as possible, if you haven't seen the trailer about it, don't watch it, or sort of thing, I think you're just going to have a great time, because like when we watched it, we're just like, what is happening? The mystery, it keeps you gripped. I love it. I love it.
See, I can completely agree with that, because I'm not someone that's a huge horror person or a huge horror fan. I never saw a trailer for this movie, but on the topic of the marketing, I read those 8 or 10 lines that set up the plot on the poster. That was enough for me to go and watch it. And watching it, I'm so glad I didn't watch the trailer, because just seeing it all unravel was great.
It's interesting because if you actually go back and watch that very first trailer, it pretty much just is the first 10 minutes of the movie. There's a couple of shots that are a bit spoilery just to get you interested, but a good 2 minutes out of that 2-minute first trailer is just the speech that is the introduction to the film, which is the poster description, and maybe the bits from the first 20 minutes. It really doesn't spoil anything. The last couple of trailers got worse for it. But they really were fantastic at marketing the non-spoiler aspect of it. The amount of people that I didn't know were in this film when I was watching it, and I have seen that trailer so many times.
Yeah.
I know, the people you think, oh, okay, you're in this. But then also, I talked to you about it. I was like, I looked at the cast list afterwards, and it's like Brian Tyree Henry was meant to be in it. Pedro Pascal was meant to be in it. It was just what?
Well, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
Pedro?
I think was meant to be
He was going to be Josh Brolin's role, and Josh Brolin crushed it.
Yeah,
Josh Brolin did crush it. I do think Pedro would have been interested in it. I'm not against that, but Josh Brolin, I do think, is one of his best performances.
The whole thing of Pedro Pascal saving kids and all this sort of stuff again. But Brian Tyree Henry was meant to be Benedict Wong's character.
Oh,
which I think Benedict Wong was so good in that film.
Huh.
For the little impact he had.
Yeah, no, I think Benedict Wong was fantastic in this. I really don't think. I think Austin Abrams was really, really good as well. I think that's his name. Who's a real underdog in this, and again, not a character I really want to go into depth on for spoiler reasons. But I do think his character and his perspective of things was fascinating and one of my favourite parts of the whole film.
Yeah, I completely agree. But no, it's back to what you said, Corey, but not realizing how many people were in this movie. From the trailers, you don't get that, and then I was like, oh, that's Han Solo.
Yes, that's literally what I said. What? Is that Han Solo?
It's the Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
I think at one point I was like, right, obviously, let's get into spoilers. We'll talk about film, but right. I said to you at one point, I was like, that one scene, you'll go, all right, so Wong is fighting the Silver Surfer and Han Solo is chasing them.
We're in some strange multiverse.
Right, should we go full deep dive into spoilers and everything now?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Weapons and you've got this far, please go and watch Weapons and then come back, because we are about to go into everything.
Yes, let's go.
Who wants to kick off with anything?
Where do you think we should start with this? Do you think we should start from more of the ending, or do you think we should move up into the...
I'd be interested to know from both of your perspectives, at what point did you clock everything was going on? What point did you realise that it was witches, that we were going down a satanic route? How far into the film was it when you went, oh, I get it. I get what's happening now?
I'm just trying to think back, because I think we sort of looked at each other at some point, and I think you said you clocked it at one point, but I'm trying to think.
I clocked a little bit. So obviously there's the bit when someone literally writes witch on Julie Garner's car. But I always thought it was interesting that every time Julie Garner was holding her keys, she had what looked like a little star on the keys, which I thought was very Wand-esque. And I said, I think I leant over to you and said, I think Julie Garner's going to be a witch. And I was wrong. And then when I finally clocked on that this aunt was getting everyone in, and the reason she was doing it was because she was feeding on people. It was honestly quite spelled out for me. I feel like I didn't clock why all these kids disappeared until quite late into it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I was at the precise point that I really like. Okay, that's when I realised. I think it's just sort of maybe pieces came together, and I was like, okay. And then you sort of had the main bit at the end. You're like, shit, okay. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah, again, very late for me. I think that's just down to how impeccably well the story was written and played out. You certainly get the teasers all the way throughout of, just weird things happening and these absurdly paranormal events that are taking place. I guess one scene where you kind of begin to have a somewhat understanding of what's going on is the first time that door opens and someone walks out.
Yes.
That for me is
scene. Oh my
what a
god.
good scene.
I tell you what, I think that was one of the most creepiest scenes in the film, because I think it was there are a lot of creepy scenes, but that's where, oh no.
When she's got
goes on, the more I think about it, the more I'm just
they don't cut her walk. They show the whole thing. And can I just say, I had one of the most horrific viewing experiences of my life. I live in one of the smallest towns in the UK, and I sat in the cinema and watched this on my own.
Oh.
And this, I was locked in the whole time. And to jump to the ending, it was horrifying, because the scene at the end when all the kids burst out, a Cineworld worker had come in to watch it in the front row, ran off to the toilet when the kids started running, and I felt like I was in some immersive experience. I was in front of the screen. I was like, this is so weird. But no, one of the strangest but most memorable cinema experiences I think I'll ever have.
Because that's how they've been marketing it. I've seen videos where they've just got kids running around the streets of New York, and I just think that's just great. Because horror film marketing is, I think, some of the best marketing in film. When you've got the likes of Smile, that Smile marketing.
The Smile marketing was amazing. The Final Destination marketing from this year was incredible. I think Megan had amazing marketing this year, despite not really succeeding. But I feel like horror marketing has been on and up, and Final Destination especially, and this as well, have both been really good. I mean, even I Know What You Did Last Summer had really fun marketing as well.
Yeah,
just kept putting the fisherman killer in places.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to this, I think, this film, in terms of horror, I think it's got a lot of thriller elements to it. And a lot of people coming out going, I didn't find that really scary. But I did, because there were points where, there was, we talk about that scene where she's coming out the door, and then you think, okay. But then there's also a scene where, who is it? I think it's not, is it Austin Abrams goes down when he's in the house doing the burglary, and he just sees the kids silhouetted standing there.
Yeah.
Kids in a horror film is something for me that really, kids and old people are really what get me. So this was sort of a mixture of both.
It just really hit both niches for you there.
There are some really, the horror factor, I said in my review, the horror factor and the effective use of jump scares is really refreshing in this film. It's not lazy. It's not just, here's a jump scare. It's just,
it's tension building, and I do think the parts where I was sat there going, this is horrendous, I can't believe I'm watching this, is even just the bit when I think it's Julie Garner is just trying to see where that kid lives, and she's going around the house and she's looking through all the windows, she's trying to figure out how to get into the house, and waiting to see what happens, and she looks into that window and sees the two parents just sat there staring dead at her, and I was like, oh, this is horrendous. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
But that's what's really great, because the whole non-linear structure of it is so effective, because obviously you're following Justine's story first. I should remember that. It's my mum's name. Justine's story first, which obviously you see that scene where she looks through and you think, what the, I just feel like the way that it does each chapter, it works so well. And a lot of people don't like the whole non-linear structure, but I think in this film, it was, perfect.
Yeah, I was reading an interview with Zach Cregger last night about that structure, and he was saying that he was very adamant that whatever character's perspective he went to, he never wanted to go back to that character's perspective. So every single jump, it never goes back to Justine's perspective, or I can't remember the names of the characters, but It never goes back to Josh Brolin's perspective and things like that. It consistently moves the story along in a really, really interesting way, but then you still get that. I can't remember which person it was. It might have even been Austin Abrams, where we're quickly going back through the highlights of each one. Maybe it was Han Solo's. This is how bad I am with character names. It's like it quickly goes back through all the moments that you've just seen, but gives you a little bit of extra context. And I really liked that because it doesn't waste time with it. It's very fast.
Yeah, I think that it was Austin Abrams because it's when they show the bit in between as to why he's going back to the police station.
Yes.
That was such a cool scene.
I wonder, rewatching it, I really want to rewatch it, how many times the witch appears beforehand. Because obviously we see her in the woods, I think, with Austin Abrams very, like, briefly, because she's almost clownesque.
There's also a scene which, when Josh Brolin, his character, his name is Archer, when he's in bed and he's having that sort of weird, like, dream.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and then he looks up to the ceiling, and I'm pretty sure that was her. I did at that time shit myself. I'm pretty sure that was her.
And the scene, the one where he's, where he runs off into the woods, comes out the other side, and he's back at his house.
Yeah.
And then he goes inside, and the kid's there, and then that's obviously her as well when that jump scare.
Yeah, it's the whole makeup, isn't it? It's the makeup.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at the names while I'm doing this, when Alex is sat at the chair, when Julia Garner comes in, he's got the makeup on, which of course is the makeup.
Yes, he does. That was the post. That was one of the big poster pictures. I forget. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I do wonder what the symbol, the symbolization. I don't know what the symbolism is of the makeup and everything. It's one of the things I haven't really thought about because I do think it is very clown-esque.
It is very clown. Yeah.
Did you even have the squeaking of the shoes when she's walking around?
Yeah, true.
Which was a good point.
There's a lot of elements that, like I said to you, right, if you go and watch this film again, I bet there's so much more you can pick up on. Because there's so
100%.
many details. One of the main details that we noticed, and I was sort of saying to you throughout, was the whole use of the 666. So, you noticed it on the bell. There was a 6 on the bell. And then I thought it was 7, but I think there was 6 hot dogs when Andrews sat there with his husband. And then, of course, you got the 6 chapters of the non-linear structure. So the whole 666 was quite effective. I like little details like that.
Yeah, there's some details.
So I really should remember these names because obviously Han Solo's name is Paul. So the main characters are my mum and dad's name, Justin and Paul.
No, the structure's really interesting, and I also think one of the other things that this film does really, really well is actually its comedy, which is something that has hindered me with some horror films this year, especially The Monkey, which I really don't think nailed its comedy aspect. But this, it was in the same way Barbarian was, because again, I stand by the fact that I think Barbarian is also a 5-star, 10 out of 10 film. And that also nailed its comedy aspects, and it's really funny when it needs to be, but then it can quickly switch to that horror mode. And I think Zach Cregger is so good at balancing the two, and it not feeling awkward or it not feeling forced in. It's just, that's what we need. It's almost upbeat horror, but it's still horror.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Upbeat horror, because it's all the times you go, oh, okay, this is quite funny actually, and you go, oh shit, okay, this is actually quite scary. Yeah, especially Austin Abrams' character James. He was so funny.
So funny.
I was looking at his stuff. I didn't realize he was, of course, in The Walking Dead. And
is it?
He was in there. There's when they're in Alexandria, and I can't remember her name in this because she's probably going to be quite down on the cast list. But when Rick has that new girlfriend, the blonde one, her 2 kids, the older one that gets in trouble with Carl and shoots Carl in the face is Austin Abrams' character, which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't realise that was him at all.
I know him from Euphoria and This Is Us, both of which I think he's great in, but This Is Us especially. I think he's really, really good in. Oh, This Is Us is amazing. But I think he's really good in Euphoria, and I think he's now not in the next season of Euphoria because of a few different reasons. But I've always liked Austin Abrams. I think Austin Abrams has been fantastic. So I was really happy to see him. And then when I first saw him, when Julie Garner's walking into the liquor store, and like he stops her immediately, and I was like, that's weird that Austin Abrams is there, because I didn't know he was in the film at all. And I was like, he's got to be a bigger part of this film because he's a big actor. And I was right; he had his own whole story perspective. And that was at the beginning. I was just so had no idea what to expect. I had no idea how much of a character he was going to be.
Yeah, I thought, he's just going to be a little bit. I don't know about this guy. They're just adding another character in for the sake of it, but his character works so well, and he was such a nice relief to this film because he was just something a bit different. And his chemistry with Alden's character, I just thought that was just great, because that scene where he sees him, when he realizes obviously the kids are there, when he sees him around that police station, and he's like, he's yelling at him, and he's like, that scene was so funny. I love that because he's just on pursuit of him again. What a character, man! What a character.
Yeah. There's a scene I probably shouldn't.
Go on, sorry.
There's a scene that I probably shouldn't have found funny with his character, but I just couldn't stop myself from almost laughing. Is the one right at the end when Josh Brolin's character is fighting him and he just keeps getting back up.
Oh, that's so good. Yes.
Honestly, the way
they were going to cut it off, and it just kept going. Yeah. I thought it was brilliant.
The sound is so good in that scene as well, because it's just like, okay,
no, that bit is very funny. What did you guys think of the actual ending then? I feel like that's the controversial part.
I'm lower than a 10.
Really? Wow. Okay.
What do you think, Charlie?
I loved the whole movie. I didn't like the ending because of how blunt it was.
What specific? Are we talking specifically the very last moment, or are we talking like I'm classing the ending up until the point when the kids are running? So if kids are running onwards.
So I like all of that bit. I just would have liked to have seen. Not that I want everything spelled out to me. I like the idea of like we don't know everything, but it was very much Alex's parents are still being looked after. The kids are all back with their parents, and some of them are speaking again, and it's like, well, but what does that mean?
See, I like that though, because I think it's because they've obviously been in this trance, if you will, for so long, and it just it makes it play on your mind, like what's going to happen to these kids now. It's not like it's like boom, done. Like I like endings like that, which leave you thinking about what's going to happen next, what's going to happen with these kids.
I kind of like how it's not happy. Like, yeah, they found them all, but all these kids are now catonic. It's exactly. Like they genuinely might not ever get better. They might have almost killed 17 children in a sense. It's like there is no happy ending to this scenario. His parents are pretty much gone. This whole town has still been absolutely destroyed by this witch, and that makes me question the whole. I'll bring it up in a second of the motivations of the witch and everything like that, because that's the one thing that I'm shocked we didn't get. I was always expecting the last act of the film to be the witch's perspective. Yeah.
I think it is interesting. It's sad. Yeah. Sorry, Charlie.
I was expecting there to be like before the ending, when they say like, "Oh, is it?" I think it's Archer and Justine. They get the crosses and they're like, "Oh, his house is there," and then we go straight into the ending. I was expecting that to cut to black again, and we get Gladys and go into her, and then we go to the ending.
Because and this is just me not remembering it, how does she get to this family to begin with? Because she's an aunt, but is she just an aunt that they've never met? Was that the...
I don't know if she was the aunt or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. You assume not, right?
I don't understand why... Yeah, she was just perhaps going there for...
And I think she clearly just goes to different places and does this because, like, she's at the end, she's like, we're moving. And she wants to take the kid with her, which is a bit weird, I think. But I don't actually understand that. That was one part, that's like probably the only part of the film that I don't understand, is why does, like, at the end, when she is about to do the final thing, why is she like, oh, pack your things, we're going? Why does she care about bringing him with them? Why would she not just eat him like she has the rest of them?
I'd say I would have liked to have seen perhaps a touch on her intentions, but then I don't know how that would work. It leaves that to sort of imagination then, doesn't it? I don't know, it's a tough one. But the ending, I think just the whole effectiveness of how it's not a happy ending, it's just...
Yeah.
I think it's great. And
it's the kid voiceover of it as well. It's like it's not even anyone else. It's still the kid's voice being like. I think so. Yeah, it must be. Actually, no, I don't think it is, because I've got the story up here. It just literally says a voiceover. So I actually don't think. No, it isn't. It's a different person. It's a girl. It's a girl called Scarlett Sher as the child narrator of the film. So it's just a different child. I assume it's just a different child in the town.
Different child that's narrating in the town. Yeah.
But we were at the screening of it, and we were talking to someone who'd read the script of the film. And obviously, I don't know if you know the backstory to the script, but the script was apparently so good that Jordan Peele went for the script and fired his agent when they didn't get the script. It was such a competitive script that everyone wanted that Zach Cregger managed to pull it off and get the script. And I was asking him what he thought and how different it was, and he says it was word for word exactly how it was. There was no massive changes on it. The massive AR-15 that appears in the sky, that's in the script. And Zach Cregger even said in an interview yesterday that even he doesn't really know what that means, which I find quite funny. But even down to the very last line and the way that it is that child narrator ending the film like that is how it was supposed to be. That was always what the script was.
Because I know there's meant to have some sort of subtext of like school shootings, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it's a big allegory for school shootings. Obviously, there's I think he was saying again, this is not my own knowledge of this one, so I apologize if it's wrong, but I think it mirrors a similar school shooting in America. I can't remember which one. I don't want to say if I don't know.
Yeah, something to do with a teacher that sort of had her own intention for teaching and something like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things to that I need to research more because I probably will make some videos on it. But it is just this element of, yeah, sometimes I think it is very on the nose. And when there is a massive gun over the head and the film's called Weapons and it's about kids going missing from a school in America and things like that, it is, yes, the allegory is very obvious at times. But I also don't think that's a bad thing when the rest of it is about witches. Like, it's unique.
Yeah.
It's a very unique film. That's what's great about it.
Yeah, you can't really compare it to much because it's not really a lot like it.
No, I honestly think that one of the few things you can compare it to is Barbarian, which I think matches the same tone and the same weirdness and the same amount of twists and everything else. And I think that's why both films are still uniquely different, but very similar in tone. And I also just want to shout out in this film how amazing the cinematography is, how fantastic some of that camera work is. There is a bit with Austin Abrams when he's taking some drugs in a tent, and it's just like panning like that, and it's all one shot, and it's beautiful. The soundtrack's fantastic. Like, I really do think this is a 10 out of 10 in almost every aspect.
Yeah, that cinematography, I remember just sat there after that scene with Austin, I just thought the camera work there was so good. It's such a little scene, but the camera work was just impeccable. I loved it.
I think my rating.
Have I persuaded you?
No, I've got this up to a 9.
I need to see it again. I really need to see it again.
Yeah, same. But no, that sound, the score to that film was just so effective with how it uses it.
I'm a big score exaggerator, and I do like to hyperbole a lot of my things. But this year I've seen 60 films. I've only given 3 films 5 stars, and it's 28 years later, and it's The Life of Chuck. And I really think all 3 of them are outstanding films. And as much as I do throw around a 5-star every now and then, I really think this is one that will go down for me.
Yeah, no, that's pretty valid.
I can respect that a lot. That's a great.
It's up there with some of the best horrors, not just this year, but it's definitely one of the best horrors in a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
I think we can all agree that horror has been great for like the films for horror fans have been so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very, very happy with that.
As we've been talking through this, there's so many scenes that keep coming to mind.
Yeah.
You don't even have time to talk about everything. I mean, 2 more for me that stand out is the scene at the end when Josh Brolin goes to find his son and all the kids just stood there still in a trance, but they're not actually under the thing still. That is chilling. And just, it's a very, I guess, classic horror scene, but also when he's in the basement again looking for his son and then she's in the corner.
Oh, yes.
Got me good.
That one grabs him, and that just before that is a scene that I think perhaps was, you have obviously the whole scissors coming out of the house scene, which of course is great, but then you've also got that scene where they initially go into the house and they're just like, what's going on? Woodin's character stood there in the door, and then you see this line of salt, and then she just steps over it, and the adrenaline.
The trap.
Running, oh,
she
my
set this trap ready, and she's like,
trap.
there's these things, and it's like you're just waiting for it all to just them to just suddenly click.
Boom.
And I think another scene that we haven't spoken about that I really can't believe it's only just come back to my mind is Benedict Wong killing his husband.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
In one of the most horrific, like, that is horrible. Just sat there in the kitchen, just repeated. It just goes on for so long as he's bashing his head into him. It's horrible.
The thing with that, what makes it so much worse, is that none of that, I know none of it technically, but that scene, none of it needed to happen because of the whole, Julia Garner's character calling up him and saying, something's wrong here. So he's done that. And then he's obviously called like the services. So then she's just like, okay, now I have to take measures. And then it's just like,
she's like, you haven't made the call yet, right? And it's like, oh God, it's so good.
Yeah, you haven't made the call. It's like, oh no, but you
such a good villain, such a good villain.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, that killed brutal. Like, they don't shy away on the gore on this film. Like with that, obviously the death of Wong when he's run over, and then of course that final one where the kids rip her apart. You think,
yeah,
I didn't realize it was an 18 until like a day later, and now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense actually.
Even just about like tiny details. When he's running, when he leaves the house, obviously his eyes are normal, and then it cuts to the garage. Obviously, they're like pulled out of his face, where he's just been running, eyes open for so long, and it's that tiny detail of every time it cuts to his face, his eyes are like slightly more popping out of his head.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do that, but I'm so glad they did.
Yeah, here's one more bit of discussion. What do you think about the way they run? This whole Naruto-style run. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't really know the meaning behind it, though.
I don't know the meaning of it. I assume it's just the idea is everyone is childlike, because it's not just them doing it. It's everyone that's in that same thing is there. But I do think it's beautiful imagery, at the very least. It's proper standout. That is the image of the film now, which I think is really cool. And it's almost it's creepy, because I think it's intentional, obviously, because it almost feels like they're happy. The kids haven't just disappeared. They have voluntarily gone out of their house, and it almost seems like they're playing as they leave.
That's it. It's such an eerie undertone to it. You think, oh yeah, like you said, they're just running away, having a bit of fun. Oh yeah, it reminds me of that other scene as well. I know what to talk about, but there's another scene where Gladys and Alex are stood at the door waiting for the kids to arrive, and you can just see them in the distance all running, and it's just little things like that are just so creepy.
I also love that scene at the end when they're chasing her, and everyone just thinks it's like kids chasing after a nanny or something.
Yeah.
I think like just cutting his lawn, and he's just like, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
I really think it's testament that I think for the past 15 minutes we've just gone, God, I love how much this scene is. This scene. There's so much you can pick out. That's why I think it's so good, because there is a million different conversation topics. It's not like there is a dull moment in this film, and there is so many more that I think we could talk about. But I really think it's testament to how good it is when you can sit here for 15 minutes and pull apart different scene after scene after scene.
Yeah, because that's the camera work. It was very similar to the likes of like 28 Days Later or Weeks Later, that camera work of that one specific girl running through the house.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that then. I thought, that was fucking great. And then you got the scene afterwards where Josh Brolin's following them, and they're like, "Honey, there's a guy in the house. Get him out." The comedy is just so effective.
Look, horror is back. Horror is back.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that. That was. I think I know a lot of people have enjoyed this film. It's got a good rating on Letterboxd. So we can all agree that horror is back. This is good. There's some more horrors coming out this year due to release in the UK. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you said one of your last points was about the modern state of horror and stuff. So I don't want to necessarily go too deep into it, but you look at some of the amazing films that we've had this year already, and I think Together is either just about to come out in UK cinemas.
Yeah, that comes out next.
Does it come out next week? That's another film I highly recommend you watch. I saw it a few months ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about Together. I don't think it's on the same level as Weapons and stuff, but Together is messed up. Horribly messed up and very substance-esque and very... It's body horror, but it's also very fun and has some really clever camera work in it. And a couple of bits that I don't think work too well, which is why I don't think it's as good as Weapons. But Together is another film that's outstanding. people I know who've seen Shelby Oaks already have said it's fantastic, and the trailer for that looked amazing.
Yeah. You got Conjuring: The Last Rites.
Yeah, not confident in that one, to be fair.
The Long Walk.
Long Walk, yeah.
Really good.
Strangers Chapter 2.
Is that still happening? That's crazy.
Still happening. That's coming out on the 26th of September. You've then got, on the 3rd of October, you've got Him.
Yes, Him looks so much fun.
So much fun. And then your 17th of October, you got Black Phone 2.
Very excited for that. Love the Black Phone.
I love the Black Phone. And I think that's...
But even this year, we've had 28 Years Later, which I thought was outstanding. I think technically in America it was last year, but we had Nosferatu in January, which feels like so long ago now, but also fantastic. Heart Eyes was really fun this year as like a fun little slasher. Then you had Final Destination Bloodlines, and obviously last night they just confirmed they're doing another Final Destination now. And it's the same co-writer as Bloodlines. I don't know if it's the same directors. I really hope it is, because those two directors, it was a co-directing duo, and they love Final Destination so much that to get the pitch for Final Destination Bloodlines, they did a fake Final Destination kill on the Zoom call. So they were on the Zoom call with the producers of, or I can't remember, I think it's Paramount. No, it's Warner Brothers. They were on a call with Warner Brothers, and then halfway through their interview, one of them gets beheaded, and they have a whole Final Destination in the interview, and that got on the job. And so they clearly care about it. We just had Bring Her Back, which was also fantastic. I watched that this week. And it was amazing. I Know What You Did Last Summer, bit of a miss, but was still kind of fun. It's like, and Companion as well. It's like, it's been such a good year for horror.
Yeah, and it's not just that, the decade as well. I mean,
yeah.
I think you obviously got, like you said, Sinners this year.
Sinners.
Substance last year was great. Long Legs,
Smile 2.
Smile 2, Talk to Me. I'm a big fan of Talk to Me. I love Talk to Me.
Quiet Place Day 1, Alien Romulus.
I loved Alien Romulus.
I loved Alien Romulus.
Yeah. Quiet Place, I liked Quiet Place Day 1. I thought it was good. Quiet Place Part 2 as well, I love that. Some of the what else has come out.
I mean, they're about to make a sequel to one of my favourite horror films of all time. I think it's coming next year. We still haven't heard too much about it. I believe it's finished filming, but they're doing a sequel to It Follows, called They Follow. And if they pull that off, that could be a genuine masterpiece, because I think It Follows is a must-watch film for everyone.
Yes, I loved It Follows. It Follows is great. It's just, I'm looking at this, there's been so many just in this past decade that are so
Fresh.
good.
Fresh is another one that I'm obsessed with.
That was really good.
Loved Fresh. Oh, you definitely need to watch that. That has the title card drop in that is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
So good. One of the best.
Yeah, I will watch
things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was obsessed. And Barbarian, obviously. If you haven't seen Barbarian, it's
Barbarian. The First Omen was good. I like the First Omen.
Yeah, the First Omen was. I never watched it, but I did watch that intro, which is the church bit, right? I was like, maybe I really should watch this film.
I'm a big fan of Abigail. I thought Abigail was a great.
Abigail was great. Abigail was great. And then we had Scream 6 and 7, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
The last two Screams were really good. I don't know what number we're at. And Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise, Trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Horror is so back. I love horror.
Watcher was a great film. Michael Monroe.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good.
There's so many horror films, but I think we can all say, horror is doing very well at the moment. We've got some great horrors on the way, so I think horror fans are doing very well.
Absolutely. Yeah. An exciting future and a great decade of horrors that we're in.
Very much so.
Yeah. And the thing with horror as well, which is great, it's such a subjective genre. Like, horror can be so scary for one person, but not for the other, and that's what makes it so great, because I love it. And I've come in more. I used to hate it. I used to hate watching horror films, but I've come around to it so much more. I could just really appreciate it.
I worry that the discourse around weapons is just going to turn into the same discourse about Longlegs, which I never really understood, because I was also obsessed with Longlegs. Was a film that I gave 5 stars to last year. And I really do think Longlegs was special and weird and creepy, and it had a very subversive ending, of course, and I just feel like most people are going to compare it to that, and I think they're going to be a bit disappointed with the ending, but I hope that doesn't happen. But I can feel it happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out now. Definitely going to watch it already.
Good place to leave it, unless anyone's got anything else to add.
I don't think so.
No, all good. Well, I'll just say thank you, Dawson, for joining us for this week. It was
No worries, anytime.
great to discuss through weapons and talk about horror, and of course, as we started off with news from this week. As always, we've got to do episodes every week, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. So make sure you're tuning in. Make sure to follow Dawson on everything as well. And we will see you all next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Thank you.